There's a quiet kind of suffering most people carry, not on their shoulders, but inside. You can't always see it, but it's there. Regrets, broken expectations, pain that never had a voice, and dreams that never got wings. I see it often, in people who smile but feel heavy, in those who chase peace but don't know why it runs from them. So today, let's talk about letting go. Story 1. The Overflowing Cup. When I was younger, I too held on to many things. Words that stung, fears of not being enough, moments I wished I could rewrite. One day, my teacher gave me a task. He filled a clay cup with water until it touched the rim. "Carry this across the garden without spilling," he said. I walked slowly, cautiously, but with every step, fear of losing even a drop made me clumsy. Eventually, the cup tilted and the water spilled. He smiled and said, "This is how many live, so full of worry, pain, and pride that they can't take a single step without trembling. You want to walk in peace? Then pour a little out." The parable of the glass. You know, a psychologist once held up a glass of water and asked, "How heavy is this?" People guessed, 200 grams, 500 grams. She smiled and said, "It doesn't matter how heavy it is. What matters is how long you hold it. Hold it for a minute, no problem. Hold it for an hour, your arm will ache. Hold it for a day, you'll collapse." The same is true with emotional weight, anger, regret, guilt. The longer you hold on, the heavier it becomes. Story 2. The Two Monks and the Woman. In our monastery, there's a story we share with all who struggle to release what burdens them. Two monks were traveling. They came to a river where a woman needed help crossing. One monk lifted her, carried her over, and placed her down. Hours later, the other monk was still upset. "How could you touch her? We're monks." The first monk calmly replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" That story always stays with me. How often do we carry moments long after they've passed? What we hold on to isn't always pain. Sometimes it's an identity, a role, a version of life we thought we needed. And like trees in autumn, life asks us to shed, not because we failed, but because we're ready to grow. Autumn's lesson. Even the trees know how to let go. Every autumn they release their leaves, not because they're dying, but because they're preparing for something new. What are you still holding on to? A past mistake? Someone's words? A picture of how things should have been? Let it fall, not because it didn't matter, but because it no longer needs to weigh you down. Still, if letting go brings so much peace, why do we resist? Because letting go feels like surrender, like we're losing control. And that brings me to a student I once taught, one who was holding more than he realized. The rising moment. When we let go of blame, we rise. When we let go of needing to be right, we rise. When we let go of believing that peace lies somewhere far away, we rise into the present moment, where life actually lives. You cannot rise while clenching your fists, and you cannot heal while holding tight. So how do we begin? What does letting go actually look like? It begins not with an answer, but with a breath. Breathe in with me now, and as you exhale, release one thought, one fear, one story you no longer need. You don't have to release everything, just a little, just enough to take your next step. Because when you release, you rise. Thank you for walking with me. If this story helped you lighten your heart, share it with someone who's still holding on. Until we meet again, may your hands be light and your heart even lighter. If you found peace in this story, there are many more waiting for you here. Subscribe to A Mindful Journey, and let's walk this path of reflection one story at a time. Pukar.